There's a very specific kind of identity crisis that happens when you read something about your personality type online, and it's wildly wrong. Not slightly off, not close enough. I mean so inaccurate you briefly consider starting a podcast just to defend yourself. INTJs are evil masterminds, ESFPs are shallow party animals, ISTJs are emotionless robots, INFPs cry in forests full-time. And at some point, every type has watched a video or read a comment and thought, that is not what I'm like. Here's the problem. Stereotypes are loud, nuance is quiet. So today, we're breaking down the most common misconceptions about each of the 16 MBTI personality types, what people assume, what's actually happening, and why your type deserves a better reputation. If you've ever felt misrepresented by a meme, this one's for you. And if you love MBTI content that goes beyond cliches and actually makes you feel understood, hit like, tap subscribe, and comment your type below. Because here on Personality IRL, we don't just repeat stereotypes, we fix them. Alright, let's clear some names. These types are usually accused of being cold, rigid, or power-hungry. Let's talk about it. The biggest misconception about ISTJs is that they don't have feelings. They do. They just don't broadcast them like breaking news. ISTJs express care through reliability, through showing up, through remembering details, through consistency. Just because they don't write you a 10-paragraph emotional confession doesn't mean they don't care deeply. They're not emotionless. They're measured. And if you've ever had an ISTJ quietly support you through something difficult without needing applause, you know how much heart is actually there. ESTJs get labeled as overbearing. But what's often misunderstood is that ESTJs step into leadership because someone has to. They see inefficiency and think, we can fix this. Air directness isn't cruelty, it's clarity. They don't enjoy micromanaging people for fun. They enjoy results, stability, and systems that work. Underneath that decisive exterior is usually someone who genuinely wants everyone to succeed. They're not trying to control you. They're trying to prevent chaos. INTJs have one of the worst PR teams in the MBTI world. They're not plotting your downfall. They're planning their future. Yes, they're private. Yes, they're strategic. But that doesn't equal villain. INTJs often care deeply about the people they choose to let in. They just don't advertise it. They don't chase attention. They chase competence. They're not heartless. They're selective. And once they care long-term. ENTJs get painted as intimidating CEOs who wake up at 4 a.m. to conquer continents. In reality, many ENTJs are simply wired for momentum. They see potential everywhere, especially in people. Their intensity is often misread as aggression, when it's actually drive. They don't want to dominate you. They want to build something meaningful, and they assume you want that too. The misconception isn't that they're ambitious. It's that ambition equals cruelty. It doesn't. These types are often reduced to soft or fragile, which is wildly inaccurate. ISFJs are sometimes labeled as predictable or overly traditional. What people miss is the quiet strength behind that steadiness. ISFJs carry emotional labor like professionals. They remember birthdays, preferences, and emotional shifts without announcing it. They're not boring, they're stabilizing. And when pushed too far, that gentle exterior has very firm boundaries. INFJs are either described as psychic sages or overly dramatic introverts. The truth is much simpler. INFJs are pattern-oriented and deeply perceptive. That can look mystical, but it's usually observation plus intuition. They're not floating above reality. They're noticing connections others overlook. They're also far more practical than people assume. The misconception is that they're fragile dreamers. In reality, many INFJs are strategic and surprisingly grounded. ISFPs often get dismissed as carefree artists who avoid responsibility. Yes, they value freedom. Yes, they value authenticity. But that doesn't mean they lack depth or commitment. ISFPs can be incredibly resilient. They just don't perform their strength loudly. They feel deeply and act intentionally. They're not drifting aimlessly. They're choosing carefully. INFPs get stereotyped as sensitive, impractical, and allergic to reality. What's overlooked is their resilience. INFPs feel deeply, yes, but they also endure deeply. They carry ideals through disappointment. They hold on to hope through cynicism. They're not weak because they're emotional. They're strong because they don't shut their emotions off. These types are often labeled chaotic, unserious, or reckless, which is incomplete. ESTPs get branded as adrenaline addicts with no long-term thinking. In reality, many ESTPs are extremely observant and strategic in real time. They make fast decisions because they trust their instincts. They're not careless, they're adaptable. And when things go wrong, they're often the first ones to act calmly and effectively. ESFPs are constantly underestimated. Just because they're expressive and social doesn't mean they lack depth. Many ESFPs are emotionally intuitive and highly attuned to others. They bring lightness to heavy rooms, but that doesn't mean they don't understand heaviness. They're not shallow, they're alive. ENTPs get accused of loving conflict for fun. The reality? They love ideas. They challenge things because they're curious, not because they're cruel. Debate is stimulation. It's play. They're not trying to tear you down. They're trying to test the structure. And when they care, they show up with loyalty, just in unconventional ways. ENFPs are often described as chaotic dreamers who can't follow through. But beneath the enthusiasm is insight. They connect emotional dots quickly. They inspire possibility. Yes, they can struggle with structure, but that doesn't make them incapable. It makes them growth-oriented. They're not unfocused. They're multi-focused. These types often get misread because their depth shows up differently. ISTPs are often labeled as cold or indifferent. The truth is, they simply don't dramatize feelings. They care quietly, they help practically. They may not give long speeches about loyalty, but they'll show up and fix the problem at 2 a.m. That's not detachment, that's devotion in action. INTPs get boxed into the awkward intellectual stereotype. Yes, they love ideas. Yes, they can be introverted. But many INTPs are far more socially aware than they get credit for. They simply prioritize thought over performance. They're not disconnected. They're internally engaged. ENFJs sometimes get accused of being performative or people-pleasing. In reality, most ENFJs genuinely care about group harmony and growth. Their warmth isn't manipulation, it's intention. They want people to thrive. And while they can overextend themselves, their care is usually authentic, not strategic. ESFJs often get reduced to host of the group chat, but their strength is relational intelligence. They maintain connections, they preserve traditions, they hold communities together. That doesn't make them rigid, it makes them relationally invested. They value belonging, and they work hard to create it. So, which misconception have you had to defend the most? Are you tired of being called cold? Too emotional? Too chaotic? Too controlling? Comment your MBTI type below and tell me the stereotype you're most overhearing. And if this video made you feel accurately represented for once, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here on Personality IRL, we don't just repeat internet cliches, we humanize them. You are more than a stereotype, and it's about time people knew it.